This restaurant kicked out a homeless man asking for food. 3 days later, the owner got a phone call that made his blood run cold. The place shut down in less than a week. You know those moments when you think you're doing the right thing, but you're actually making the biggest mistake of your life? That's exactly what happened to Marcus Chen, owner of what used to be one of the most promising restaurants in downtown Seattle. He had no idea that the dirty, smelly man he threw out onto the street that cold Tuesday morning wasn't just some random homeless guy. And when the truth came out, it destroyed everything he'd built. This is the story of how one decision, one moment of judgment, can unravel your entire world in ways you never saw coming. It was a normal Tuesday morning at Elevation, Marcus's high-end fusion restaurant, the kind of place where a single dish costs more than most people's grocery budget for a week. Marcus had poured his life savings into this place, 7 years of working double shifts at other restaurants, saving every penny, dreaming about the day he'd open his own spot. And finally, 6 months ago, it happened. The reviews had been good. Not great, but good. Food critics gave it 3.5 stars, which isn't bad for a new place. Business was steady. Reservations were coming in. Everything seemed like it was heading in the right direction. Marcus worked 16-hour days, barely saw his wife and kids, but he kept telling himself it would all be worth it. That morning, Marcus was in his office going through invoices when his head chef, David, knocked on the door. "Boss, we got a situation out front." Marcus followed him to the dining area, which was being set up for lunch service, and there, sitting at one of the tables near the window, was this guy. Dirty clothes, matted hair, shoes that looked like they'd walked through every alley in the city. The smell hit Marcus from across the room. "Sir, you can't be in here," Marcus said, trying to keep his voice professional but firm. The man looked up. His face was weathered, deep lines around his eyes, but there was something sharp in his gaze, something that didn't quite match the rest of his appearance. "I'm hungry," he said simply, "just looking for something to eat." Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd dealt with this before. Homeless people wandering in, asking for handouts. He wasn't heartless, but this was a business, a high-end business. He couldn't have someone like this sitting in his dining room when paying customers arrived. "Listen, I'm sorry, but you need to leave. This isn't a shelter. There's a soup kitchen 2 blocks down on 5th Street. They can help you there." The man didn't move. "I can pay." Marcus almost laughed. The guy's jacket had holes in it. His hands were black with dirt. "Sure you can. Look, I don't want to call the police, but I will if I have to. Please, just go." For a long moment, the man just stared at him. Then he stood up slowly, his movements deliberate, almost theatrical. "Interesting choice," he said quietly. His voice had changed somehow, less desperate, more measured. It gave Marcus a weird feeling in his gut, but he pushed it aside. "David, make sure he gets out," Marcus said, turning back toward the kitchen. He heard the door close behind him and forgot about the whole thing. He had a restaurant to run, suppliers to call, a new menu to finalize. Some random homeless guy wasn't even a blip on his radar. The next day, Wednesday, things started getting weird. Marcus arrived at the restaurant around 9 in the morning, like always. His phone had 3 missed calls from numbers he didn't recognize. Before he could check his voicemail, his phone rang again. Different number. "Hello, this is Marcus." "Mr. Chen, this is Amanda Rodriguez from the Seattle Food Chronicle. I'm calling about the incident at your restaurant yesterday. Would you like to make a statement?" Marcus's mind went blank. "Incident? What are you talking about?" There was a pause. "You don't know? The man you refused service to yesterday." "Sir, that was Jonathan Pierce." The name meant nothing to Marcus. "I'm sorry, who?" Another pause, longer this time. "Jonathan Pierce is one of the most influential food critics in the Pacific Northwest. He writes for our paper, for Food and Wine magazine, and he's a regular contributor to the James Beard Foundation website. He also happens to be an angel investor who's backed some of the most successful restaurants in Seattle over the last decade." Marcus felt like someone had dumped ice water down his back. His mouth went dry. That can't be right. The guy yesterday was homeless. He was dirty. He smelled like... "Mr. Pierce does undercover reviews," Amanda cut him off. "He's famous for it. He dresses as different people, different economic backgrounds, to see how restaurants treat everyone, not just the customers who look like they have money. It's his whole thing. You really didn't know this? Marcus sat down hard in his office chair. His vision was getting spotty. No, I had no idea. Well, he posted about his experience on his social media this morning. It's already been shared over 15,000 times. I'm writing a story about it for tomorrow's paper, and I wanted to give you a chance to respond. Marcus's hands were shaking. What did he say? What did he post? He said, and I'm reading directly here, visited Elevation Restaurant yesterday. Before I could even order, I was told to leave because of how I looked. The owner suggested I go to a soup kitchen instead. In all my years reviewing restaurants, I've never experienced such blatant discrimination. A restaurant's true character isn't shown by how they treat their VIP guests, it's shown by how they treat those who appear to have nothing. Elevation failed that test spectacularly. I cannot in good conscience recommend this establishment to anyone. Marcus felt like he was going to throw up. Listen, I didn't know who he was. If I had known, that's exactly the point, Mr. Chen. That's why he does it this way. After he hung up, Marcus immediately pulled up his phone and searched for Jonathan Pierce. His stomach dropped even further. The guy was massive in the food world. His reviews could make or break restaurants. Marcus found the post. It already had 23,000 shares now, just an hour later. The comments were brutal. Never eating here. This is disgusting. How do you treat people like this? Judging people by their appearance in this day and age? Unbelievable. I had a reservation for Friday, just canceled it. Marcus tried to call Pierce's number, which the journalist had given him. It went straight to voicemail. He left 3 messages, no response. By Thursday morning, it had exploded. The post had over 100,000 shares. Local news stations were picking it up. Marcus's phone didn't stop ringing. More cancellations. People who'd booked tables for the next 2 weeks were calling to cancel. His staff was getting harassed online. David, his head chef, came into the office that afternoon looking exhausted. Boss, I got 4 messages today from other restaurants offering me jobs. People are jumping ship. Marcus put his head in his hands. Please, we can fix this. But he had no idea how.
That evening, Marcus decided to make a public statement. He posted on the restaurant's social media, apologizing, saying he'd made a terrible mistake, that he'd acted on instinct and not thought about the implications, that he was deeply sorry and wanted to make things right. He offered to meet with Jonathan Pierce in person to apologize. The response was immediate and harsh. People said his apology was fake, that he was only sorry because he got caught, that if Pierce had been dressed normally, Marcus would have treated him fine. So what did that say about his values? More cancellations poured in. A planned private event for Saturday night, a wedding rehearsal dinner that was supposed to bring in $8,000, canceled. The bride's family said they couldn't support a business with those kind of values. Friday morning, Marcus got another call. This one was from his landlord. Marcus, I'm getting calls about your restaurant. People are saying they'll boycott the whole building if I don't kick you out. I've got 3 other tenants here, and they're worried about their businesses too. You can't be serious, Marcus said. I have a 5-year lease. I know, and I'm not breaking it, but I'm telling you the pressure is intense. You need to figure this out fast. By Friday afternoon, Marcus was desperate. Reservations had dropped by 80%. His weekend, usually the busiest time, was going to be dead. He'd lose thousands. He tried calling Pierce again. Nothing. Then, around 5 in the evening, his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered immediately. Mr. Chen, this is Jonathan Pierce. Marcus's heart jumped. Mr. Pierce, thank God. Listen, I am so incredibly sorry. I made a horrible mistake. I didn't know who you were, but that's not an excuse. I judged you based on your appearance, and that was wrong. Completely wrong. Please let me make this right. Come to the restaurant anytime you want, everything on the house. I'll personally apologize. Whatever you need. There was silence on the other end. Then Pierce spoke, his voice calm and cold. Mr. Chen, do you understand why I do what I do? Yes, to see how restaurants treat everyone, not just, no. I do it because I grew up poor. My family had nothing. When I was a kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old, my mom took me to a nice restaurant for my birthday. She'd saved up for months.
We walked in, and the host took one look at us and said we'd be more comfortable somewhere else. We left. My mom cried the whole way home. That was the moment I realized that in this world, your worth is often determined by what you look like, what you're wearing, how much money people think you have. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. Mr. Pierce, I never wanted anyone else to feel what my mom and I felt that day. Do you know what you made me feel on Tuesday? That same shame, that same humiliation. You looked at me and decided I didn't deserve basic human dignity. You're right, Marcus said, his voice cracking. You're absolutely right. I was wrong. But please, my whole life is in this restaurant. My family depends on this. I know I messed up, but don't let my mistake destroy everything I've built. Another long silence. Mr. Chen, I'm not the one destroying your restaurant. You did that yourself. My review, my post, is just holding up a mirror. What you're seeing in that mirror is the truth about your business and your values. I'm sorry about your situation, I really am, but I can't in good faith help you. That wouldn't be honest to my readers or to myself. Please. The line went dead. Marcus sat there staring at his phone. His wife called, he didn't answer. David knocked on the door, he didn't respond. He just sat there, watching his entire world crumbling around him. Saturday was a disaster. They had maybe 10 customers all day. Most of the staff called in sick. The ones who showed up looked miserable. Sunday was worse. 5 customers. 5 in a restaurant that seated 70 people. Monday morning, Marcus got another call. This one was from his investor, the person who'd helped him with the initial funding. Marcus, I'm pulling out. This isn't recoverable. I'm sorry, but I need to protect my other investments. This kind of publicity, it's toxic. People associate my name with yours now, and I can't have that. That was it. Without the investor's backing, Marcus couldn't cover his operating costs. His savings were already depleted from the startup costs. He called an emergency meeting with his accountant Tuesday morning. The numbers were brutal. He could maybe keep the doors open another week, 2 at most. After that, bankruptcy. By Friday, exactly 1 week after he'd asked Jonathan Pierce to leave his restaurant, Marcus made the decision. He called his staff together and told them Elevation was closing. Some of them cried. David just nodded like he'd seen it coming. Marcus's wife sat in the office with him that afternoon as he started making calls to creditors, to the landlord, to everyone he owed money to. The restaurant officially closed on Friday, 9 days after the incident. Marcus stood in the empty dining room that night, lights off, looking at all the tables he'd carefully selected, the art on the walls he'd personally chosen, the kitchen equipment he'd spent months researching. 7 years of saving, 6 months of operation. Done. The story spread even further after the closure. News outlets ran pieces about it. Business schools started using it as a case study about reputation management and the importance of values in business. Jonathan Pierce never commented on the closure publicly, but he did post something a week later that Marcus saw. Every interaction we have with another person is a test of our character. We all fail sometimes. The question is whether we learn from those failures or make excuses for them. Marcus lost everything. The restaurant, his savings, his reputation in the industry. He had to file for bankruptcy. His wife went back to work full-time. They had to sell their house and move into a small apartment. For months, Marcus couldn't even look at food without feeling sick. But here's the thing that haunts him the most, he told a reporter later. It's not the money. It's not even the embarrassment. It's the realization that Jonathan Pierce was right. Marcus treated him like he was worthless because of how he looked, and if Pierce hadn't been a famous critic, if he'd just been a regular homeless person, Marcus would have done the exact same thing and never thought twice about it. That's what really keeps him up at night, the person he discovered he was in that moment. If you want to see more stories like this, hit subscribe.